Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to like, comment, share, follow, and subscribe. Now let's get on with today's show. I got a great question from one of my blog readers about submitting a chapter to an anthology book, hoping that the author could leverage it into something bigger and better in publishing. So today let's talk about anthology books, what they are, how they work, and how they can work for or against you. First, let's clarify what is an anthology book. An anthology book is a collection of shorter works, short stories, poetry, nonfiction, essays, or short nonfiction tips or expert type articles, and they're from a variety of authors. Typically, the book is organized around a particular subject, theme, writing style, or genre. For example, an anthology could be a collection of short stories by sci-fi or science fiction writers. One of the most successful anthology books is the Chicken Soup for the Soul series by Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. Each book in the series is a collection of inspirational stories targeted for various markets, and the list of those markets is exhaustive. Pet lovers, nurses, new moms, runners, gardeners, almost anything you can think of has a collection under the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. Usually an anthology book is edited or published by someone of note within the genre, topic, or subject. Participation in an anthology can be for free, it can be for pay, and that could be either a share of royalties or a flat fee. And there's also the pay to participate or pay to play anthologies. This is very common in the business arena because authors participate in these anthologies to help promote themselves and their businesses. Some anthologies may require the authors to purchase a certain number of books, the print books usually, and some arrangements also give the anthology participants a copy of the ebook that those authors, those participating authors, can share or sell as they see fit. Unless a royalty sharing or flat fee pay scheme is part of the agreement, the publisher will generally retain all the income from future sales of the anthology through whatever distribution channels they use. Authors are usually provided a list of guidelines for submission of their manuscript and what types of materials are acceptable for the anthology, and the editor or publisher bears the cost of producing the book in terms of editing and proofreading and layout and illustrations and marketing and distribution. And because of that, they retain the right to reject any author's submission or request for participation in the project. Why would writers want to be in an anthology? Isn't it better to be the solo author of a book with only your name on the cover? Yes, being the lone author of a book always affords more recognition and financial benefits. However, there are a number of reasons why writers would want to participate in these anthology works. It's less effort. Self-publishing or getting a traditional publishing deal is a lot of work, and sometimes it would be easier just to submit a portion of a book for this anthology than having to bear all of the costs and effort and stress and frustration of doing the publishing, either self-publishing or getting a book deal. You also may be in good company. Some of these anthologies gather together top authors within the genre or topic of the book, and sometimes this can put you shoulder to shoulder with some very famous authors or writers, and that is good for you. It's also kind of like today's business card. Certainly, if you have your own book with your own name on it, that's the better type. But some of the authors that I've known that have participated in these business anthology books, they use these books as sort of a business card or a leave behind when they are soliciting business. It also may allow you to say, I'm on Amazon. If you have no presence on Amazon and you're just a blogger or you're a poet, but you don't have anything really published as a book, this would allow you to have a book on Amazon. So why do authors want to be in an anthology? Well, we talked about some of those reasons, but one of the big reasons is the association effect. As we talked about earlier, the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, the editor-author who runs that, Jack Canfield, is a highly recognized speaker and author in the inspirational genre, and that helps associate you with that level of author and type of book. So yes, that's why authors probably want to be in an anthology, especially one that has a high profile, such as the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. Participation in recognized anthologies can help attract fans of that type of work to your own individual books. However, it's not always a guaranteed path, since readers may be more interested in the next anthology from that superstar editor or publisher or author than that of the individual authors who are participating in the anthology. The author who had connected with me through the blog to ask about the bigger and better publishing was trying to make a name for himself in the editor's industry, the editor of this anthology that he was considering. And it may have helped him achieve some recognition from this association effect. However, recognition doesn't always equal revenues, royalties, or opportunities. In this particular case, the author was not going to receive any monetary rewards for being in the anthology. I did have an author friend who contributed a chapter to one of those pay-to-play anthologies because he was looking for the association effect with the editor and publisher of the book. And in that particular case, it was a very famous business speaker. So he really wanted to be associated with that speaker because he also wanted to be a speaker. And so he promoted his participation in the anthology everywhere he could. So he was looking for the association effect. Downside of the association effect is that you're part of a group. If the other authors are influential in your market, that could put you in good company, as we talked about earlier. But you have to realize, too, that being part of a group dilutes the attention that your individual work will receive. This is especially the case if there's a wide disparity of popularity among the authors. So your work would be overshadowed by that of the more popular or celebrity authors. One other thing you have to worry about too is, who are you marketing? I watch for these anthology book projects that pop up on social media and throughout my business network. They come up all the time. One of the editors of one of these business anthologies expressed some frustration about authors who weren't really promoting their participation in the anthology. I wasn't completely surprised. Authors can expect that their participation will lead to bigger and better things automatically. I think this is especially the case in those pay-to-play anthologies like in business. And I don't blame them. Some authors have paid up to thousands of dollars to participate, and they're looking for a return on their investment. Similar to traditional book publishing deals, once the anthology is done, you'll be responsible for continued marketing of your chapter in the book. The editor or publisher will generally feel that they are done working with you. They've done the project. They're out of here. So any leveraging of the opportunity is completely up to you. You also have to realize that your marketing is marketing for both the editor and the group of other authors. And you have to ask yourself, well, how much do I want to spend in time, effort, or money to promote this anthology when it's just a little bit of my work? So the big question is, well, does participation in an anthology help get a book deal in traditional publishing? The initial blog question that I got about anthologies leading to bigger and better things, I don't think it was a stretch to assume that this author was hoping that he was going to get a book deal from participating in an anthology. As with the association effect, participation in a recognized industry or genre anthology could help get the attention of agents or publishers. However, it is not a guarantee of any consideration. As well, authors still need to do outreach to agents and publishers. You need to build your own author platform, and that's going to be a key element in whether you are considered for a book deal. If you are going to get into one of these projects because you think it's going to lead to a book deal, you need to do some research on the reputation of the anthology, the editor, or the publisher in your target market. Is it recognized by the key players? If not, it's not going to do anything for you. And it's not that gateway to better, bigger things. So rather than joining an anthology project, you might be better off spending those resources of time, energy, and maybe money in building your author platform. Here are some tips for successfully participating in an anthology book. Remember who controls the show. The editor and publisher are running this book project, not you. Even in the pay-to-play projects, understand that their requirements are established to make the entire project successful, not going for the success of the individual authors. And don't be a prima donna, please. These anthology editors can find other authors easily. Caveat emptor. Read the anthology agreement very carefully. What future rights will you have to this work that you're submitting for the anthology? In some cases, the editor or publisher will absorb your copyright to it, and you're not going to be able to do anything else with it in the future. And so you have to decide if that's something you really want to give up, and if it's worth giving that up to participate in this book. Watch for projects that promise the anthology will be a bestseller. I've ranted about bestseller games over and over and over again, so I'm not going to do that here. But what some of these editors and publishers do is they play those bestseller games, such as giving it away for free so that they can be in the top 100 free, and then they call it a bestseller. And then they tell their anthology authors that they can bill themselves as a best-selling author. Oh my goodness, this is just so unethical, in my opinion. I can't deal with that. I am not going to go on another rant. I promise I won't. Anthology authors must market the book. While the publisher usually takes on the lion's share of marketing the anthology, the individual authors have to do their own marketing of it on their websites and social media. And that's on top of the investment of creating the chapter or short story or poem or whatever that they have to submit to the book. So you have to decide whether that marketing investment is worth it on your part. Participate in projects that make sense for you and the type of publishing you do. All anthology books are not created equal. Sure, it's impressive for an author to brag that he or she is a published author if they participate in this anthology book, and I've seen this over and over and over again in my business networking. If an author is trying to break into a new genre or market, sometimes the anthology investment might be worth it because it's outside their usual space, and so they're looking for some recognition in a new arena. So sometimes that works. But as we've talked about earlier, it doesn't have the same prestige as you as the solo author on a book. Here's something that just drives me crazy. And I see this a lot in the business anthology arena. The editor or publisher will give the ebook, usually as a PDF, to all the participating authors, telling the authors that they can sell the ebook on their website and make money off of it. I get that. But most people will think to go to Amazon, correct? These authors aren't stupid. So what they do is they don't sell it on the website as the editor or publisher wants them to do. They go and self-publish the entire ebook through Kindle Direct Publishing, and then they don't list the other authors. And then we have duplicate copies of the anthology on Amazon. So it looks like there's a whole bunch of counterfeit books out there. I'm surprised there isn't some sort of thing in the agreement that says that's prohibited. Don't do that. Please, please, please don't do that. If you participate in the anthology, play by the rules. And there is one anthology, and that's the original that is published by the editor or publisher. There's also copyright issues with that. Okay, so when you self-publish that on Kindle Direct Publishing, you're telling Amazon and KDP that this is your work, but it's not. The only part that is your work is that chapter or whatever you submitted, and all the other authors' work and the whole project itself is copyrighted by other people. So you're violating copyright rules too. Please don't do this. And I can see why some of them do it, because they realize they're not making anything off of being in this anthology at all. So they get frustrated and think that this is how they're going to do it. You and I both know that marketing books is hard. And so even if you do put it on KDP in violation of everything, you're going to have a hard sell there too. It doesn't mean that you're automatically going to make sales of it. Sorry for that other mini rant, I know. But let's talk about the kind of anthology that could work for you. How about an anthology of your own work? Short stories, poetry, essays, other short works? Sure, you could promote and publish those separately as individual ebooks, let's say, on Kindle Direct Publishing, but that's a difficult sell. So why not package them all together? Collect those that have a similar theme, or they're all the same genre, or it's for a certain type of event or time period, or group them together logically. And then sell your own anthology. That way, you have control over the whole thing. I hope you found this helpful as you consider anthologies as part of your writing career. And if you found it helpful, please rate, review, and subscribe to the Heidi Thorne Show on whatever podcast platform you like to use. I'm on all the major ones: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, you name it, I'm probably on it. Like the YouTube video better? Just subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you get an alert when a new video is up. I would appreciate it if you would share the audio podcast or the video with your friends on social media. My self-published books are on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. All you have to do is type in my name, Heidi Thorne, on one of those sites, and a list of all the available books will be listed there. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is very simply HeidiThorne.com. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.